Welcome to my kitchen. I'm Dianne Daniel. I work in student life. My role is coordinator of international student services. Gabrielle asked if we would share a recipe and make a video with that. I debated a bit about what to make, but I'm going to make the NY Times Chicken Shawarma today, and I'll make a chickpea version of it. It lends itself really well to that vegetarian option. I debate about what to make. A lot of the things I make take, a bunch of chopping, a lot of standing at the stove and stirring. But one of the advantages of anything that is like a sheet pan dinner is that you can usually the prep is not too complex, and then it sits in the oven for a bit. So it's there's cooking time, but it's not hands-on cooking time. So here we go. So for this recipe, we're prepping a marinade and ahead of time. The ingredients include olive oil, lemon juice, garlic, salt, pepper, seasonings including cumin, paprika, turmeric, cinnamon, red pepper flakes. The recipe calls for a red onion, but since the sweet ones were on sale, that's what we're using. And I have chickpeas and I have chicken. We're going to marinate those separately. When we go to serve this later, we're going to have pita, cucumber, tomato, some parsley, probably make a white sauce with yogurt. I do also have these green beans. I'm going to toss those either in, if I still have marinade, or just kind of do a little olive oil, salt, and I'll roast those as well while the oven's on. So that's the scope of the ingredients. So we're going to go ahead and prep this marinade. All right, so we need the juice of 2 lemons in the marinade. And once that's ready, then we're going to add some olive oil. Okay. So we've got our lemon juice. Olive oil, it's a half cup. Seems like a lot. And then we're going to do 6 cloves of garlic. And if you don't know, one easy trick for peeling garlic is just use the flat side of your knife to smash it, and then usually it'll pop right out of the skin. So we'll get those chopped up. I'll do that off camera in a minute. Right, so I don't know how familiar people are with knife skills, but sometimes you just can hold something quite close to the edge. Nice rocking motion. All right, so I'll give you a break while I chop garlic. All right, so I'm just going to finish a little bit more chopping of the garlic. I was thinking about have worked in restaurants in between other work after graduating from college. And one restaurant I worked in, one of the cooks was also a drummer. We used these, we had square Japanese knives there. It was always kind of fun when he was prepping food because he would actually get out 2 knives and do some rhythms, make some rhythm while chopping things, chop finely. So I've measured out all the spices that this recipe calls for, the pinch of cinnamon, red pepper flakes, turmeric, paprika, etc. So we will add that to the mix. Ooh, more exciting. Stir. Right, double check. So I have lemon juice, olive oil, garlic, salt, pepper, cumin, paprika, turmeric, cinnamon, red pepper flakes. Okay, so some of this I'm going to put on the chickpeas. I decided 1 can of chickpeas was not enough. It looks skimpy, so I've got 2 cans of chickpeas, rinsed, ready to go. You know, we'll eat a lot of this as leftovers. So I'm going to put some of the marinade on those. Do more generous there because I can always reuse that. And then I'm going to put the chicken thighs in the other marinade. So they suggest whole. I was thinking that I usually chop them up, but I'm going to go with their plan of putting the thighs in, and then after they're baked, they'll go. We'll slice them up. So let me see. Let me give this one more stir. These things are all now just going to go in the fridge. I might actually. What I think I'm going to do is quarter the onion, and I'll just add it to this because I know I have a little more time now than I will a little later. So anyway, you can see everything is going to marinate. It's going to be delicious. All right, so that's our prep for now. We'll let things sit till about 45 minutes before dinner because it's going to take about that to get the oven preheated and everything baking. All right, I'm going to get the onions in now, and that means, you know, one less set of things to clean up from. It calls for quarters, but I like pieces. We'll put one, but some in each. The marinating onions, the marinating chickpeas. Yes, it also calls for 1 onion, but I'm going to do 2 because it's, or at least 1.5. It's pretty good. It's just nice. Sort of enjoy the cooked onions that come with this. All right, so that's the prep for now. We just need to do a little bit of cleanup, and then that makes dinner pretty easy when it's time to go. And anytime I work with chicken, I do a lot of hand washing. Keep all them, like that knife and that cutting board are separate from everything else. So just, you know, just for safety. Super. So this is all. We'll just do a little cleanup. I should probably say that maybe it took half hour, or it will be a half hour till things are tidied up. So you know, a little bit of time investment, but not terrible. All right. Okay, we're back a little closer to dinner time. I've got the oven preheating to 425 degrees. I did want to clarify that I used the entire pack of chicken thighs. It was whatever, 8 of them. And when I sort of checked back on the video, I didn't want to watch you have to watch me put all of them in. So we're just gonna get a little olive oil on a baking sheet, and they suggest that you lift the meat out of the marinade. So I'm just gonna get everything onto this pan. We'll get that spread out and into the oven. You get the chicken going a little ahead of, you know, the chickpeas. They just won't need the same amount of time as this will. And then while that's cooking, I'm gonna, you know, chop up the things that we want to have, put together things that we want to have with this. You got the recipe lists lots of choices. Eggplant, feta, rice, whatever you're fancy. So hot sauce, things like that. So we'll get all that on the table as well. Let's get all these guys. Everybody have their own space here. Okay, that looks about right. So we've got, let's get these onions floating on top. That pan might be a little teeny for this, but as things bake, they'll shrink a bit. So, okay, there's that part. So that minutes. Nice pan full of stuff headed into the oven. And then I'm going to prep another pan for the chickpeas. So and we'll do the same with those. Okay, I'm actually deciding to use this other rimmed baking sheet. Getting some oil on that, and that is, we'll put the chickpeas and onions on this one, and then if space allows, I'm going to add the green beans, and those, were washed, and I can't see. Until I need to take a film class with Nancy or something so I can pull this off. If there's room, I may just add those green beans to this pan as well. We love to, I'm thinking that one could do, broccoli, asparagus. Our family also loves, we really love cauliflower when it's roasted in the oven. Zucchini, I think any of those could work with this dish and this marinade. So, thing is, I may not have that much left. So I'm thinking we'll toss the beans in here as well. Maybe just give them, since there's not a lot of marinade, give them a little drizzle of olive oil. Give a little sprinkle of kosher salt on there. And that might just be fine. I will say that sometimes when you do sheet pan dinners, you sometimes end up with everything is kind of seasoned in a similar way. So I suppose in some ways that's a small disadvantage of, oh my gosh, of sheet pan dinners. So look at these chickpeas spread out. Just scoop those down here. And these green beans can sit in that marinade over there. Let's keep making dishes. So I'm going to let the I'm going to be letting the chicken roast, and when there's about 15 minutes left, that's I think when I'll put this part of the dish in. I just don't think that this will need as much time as the meat, so it's an advantage. Sometimes it is nice to be able to put things on lots of different pans. All right, so that's all set to go, and then I'm going to work on cutting up these vegetables that can go on top, and I will pull up a recipe for a little sauce to use as well. Probably do a yogurt one tonight. Sometimes we've done a tahini-based sauce to drizzle on top. So we'll be back as things continue to cook and prep. Okay, so the chicken's been cooking for maybe 20 minutes. I've got about 15 minutes left on that. So I'm going to put in the chickpeas, onions, green beans, and put some of the onions with the beans. I have to tell you that I think of the chickpeas are great just as they are. Often in the summer we'll make marinated chickpeas and put those in pita with the same kind of toppings, lettuce and tomatoes and onions and feta and that kind of thing. So these are really good just as they are. So that'll go in the oven. I just wanted you to see that. And then I'm gonna put together a, chicken's looking good. I'm gonna put together a white sauce. So about a cup of plain yogurt, that's what I'm reading, and a quarter cup of mayonnaise, and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. This is relatively seed-free.
smells good.
Hey, we're recording in here. We're on air. And then it calls for some garlic. I'm actually going to use garlic powder rather than chop another clove, just to do a little bit of the flavor. But sometimes I do better with cooked garlic than raw garlic, so we'll taste that in just seasonings and see what looks best, tastes best. And then I realized maybe I should let you know that I'm chopping the tomato sort of the size of a chickpea. And I'll do the same, quarter the cucumber and chop that up. And then we're pretty much just going to wait for everything to cook. I don't really know how much of this you need to see. Keep dropping things on the floor tonight. I was just mopped earlier. We'll have to do that again. We'll wake up. Okay, so put all these things in a bowl and be ready to eat momentarily. Okay, the chicken is out of the oven. It's had 2 minutes to rest, or maybe 5, so it's ready to slice, and the chickpeas and green beans are out, looking nice. I'll slice this up, maybe plate up the beans, and we'll call everyone for dinner. All right, this is looking super delish. Let's get that sliced up. And I did wash my tongs, so I could use those again. But fingers work too. Right. I might just set that, nothing's is off, and I might just set this in there to keep warm until we get the crowd down here. The other thing I wanted to say, my first attempt, or one of the other meals I thought about videotaping, and then I went into a little glitch, is I did make a polenta black bean casserole. So that's going to be, so it's kind of nice. I'm like, well, that's prepped and ready for another night's dinner. It's just layers of, I actually make homemade polenta. The recipe called for the rolls, and it's got hominy and green salsa and green chilies, some cheese in there. So that's great. That recipe came from, it's loosely based on epicurious.com recipe. So anyway, we got all this chicken ready to go. Chickpeas are ready to go. I just need to grab the fan. Alright, I got the chicken all sliced up and the chickpeas. So go for it. You guys start plating up, and then I want pictures of your plates. Okay. We'll make it really TikTok-y. Okay, we've got the pita, the salad, and the cucumber, tomato, olives, and white sauce. We'll grab some hot sauce for those that want it. The green beans. I'm going to leave the chickpeas and the chicken over on the stove, so if you want to serve themselves over there. As you can see, we don't have the largest of kitchen tables. Yeah, so family sit it down and we'll plate up.